issue with my good old doc. Trust issue where my friends all talk.
We have another pioneer in the field of metabolic psychiatry here with us today. What an honor. Dr. Georgia Ede. Yeah. She has 25 years of clinical experience, including at Smith College and Harvard University. She recently came out with a phenomenal book called Change Your Body, Change Your Mind. It was named a top mental health book of 2024 by the New York Times. Wow. Come on, Georgia.
I wish I could have a drum roll every time I get up in the morning. Anyway, 10 years ago, the great Dr. Sarah Hallberg gave a TED Talk that went viral called Reversing Type 2 Diabetes Starts by Going Against the Guidelines. And not only was she absolutely right, but we now are discovering that we can reverse even very serious chronic mental illnesses, everything from depression, bipolar disorder, even Alzheimer's dementia, by going against the guidelines. And that's because the dietary guidelines choose to ignore metabolic health. And metabolic health does not stop at the neckline. So our guidelines say, eat a high carbohydrate diet full of grains and legumes and fruits and cereals and breads and pastas. And they tell us to fear animal foods like red meat and eggs because they're too high in animal fat and cholesterol. So what do you think happened when 28 people with severe chronic so-called treatment-resistant mental illnesses, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, major depression, were placed on a low carbohydrate, high fat, high cholesterol diet that was grounded in meat, eggs, cheese, nuts, vegetables, no grains, no legumes, not a fruit in sight? What do you think happened? Every single one of them got better. Every single one of them improved, metabolically and psychiatrically. So they lost weight, their blood sugar levels improved, their triglycerides improved, their liver function tests improved, and their depression and psychosis symptoms improved so much that 43% of them achieved full remission from their primary psychiatric diagnosis. This is just one of a growing number of studies in this field that are so exciting. So why would it be that going against the dietary guidelines would improve everybody's, all 28 of these people, their mental health and their physical health? Why would that be? Well, and were all of these people exceptions, all 28 of them exceptions to the rule? And what about the hundreds of people I've seen in my practice over the years as a psychiatrist, whom I've been able to help improve their mental health by prescribing very unorthodox diets, seemingly, ketogenic diets, paleo diets, even plant-free carnivore diets? Are all of those people exceptions too? The reason why going against the guidelines helps improve your mental and physical health is because the dietary guidelines fly in the face of human biology. And the reason we got here is because most of the science behind the dietary guidelines isn't science at all. It comes from this methodology called nutrition epidemiology. You can just think of that as a Greek word for wishful thinking and wild guesses. There is no real science in nutrition epidemiology. There's no data, there are no laboratory experiments, there are no human clinical trials. It really is just untested theories about what we should eat. So as a result, our guidelines are not based on the biology of food, the biology of the body, or the biology of the brain. So this is the problem. So instead of biological guidelines, what we've ended up with is a bio-illogical misguidelines. MIST guidelines say, base our diets on a lot of carbohydrate, when our bodies can make all the carbohydrate we need from scratch themselves. The MIST guidelines say, base your diet on grains, when these are some of the least nutritious and riskiest foods we can eat. The guidelines say, fear red meat, even though it's a whole food that provides plenty of nutrients, including B12, B vitamins, and iron. The MIST guidelines say, make half of your grains refined, processed, ultra-processed things like flours and cereals, because though you can't fortify a whole food, you can only fortify a processed food. And in order to meet all of your nutritional requirements, following their dietary patterns, you have to eat fortified processed foods, or you won't get all the nutrients you need. So these refined carbohydrates like sugars and flours and cereals and fruit juices, these raise our glucose and insulin levels, they drive them high, they cause brain inflammation, they destabilize brain chemistry, and they damage brain metabolism, paving the path to chronic mental illnesses, including Alzheimer's disease. So our MIST dietary guidelines, they work against your good mental health. So if you want good mental health, you have to go against the guidelines. But many people are not allowed to do that because the dietary guidelines are standing in their way. So should children trying to learn have the freedom to choose a brain-healthy diet in school? Yes. Should military members have the freedom to choose a brain-healthy diet on the front lines and in VA clinics? Should patients who are trying to heal have the freedom to choose a brain-healthy diet when they're in the hospital? Should seniors trying to protect their memories have the freedom to choose a brain-healthy diet when they're in long-term care facilities? Of course they should. So support the good work of the Nutrition Coalition. Tell your representatives to hold the USDA guidelines to a higher standard, and remove the nutrition epidemiology and replace it with biology, including the biology of ketogenic diets and brain metabolism. Tell them that you want everyone to have the freedom to choose a brain-healthy diet. Thank you.